22,880 pounds. That's how much baked spaghetti and chicken cobbler just got pulled off shelves in Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia, and even military commissaries, because the food itself wasn't the problem. The pan it was cooked in was shedding metal into it. Here's how this one started. A consumer in Virginia sat down to a fully cooked meal from Ukrop's Homestyle Foods, took a bite, and found a piece of metal in it. Not a hair, not a plastic fragment, metal. They reported it, and that single complaint triggered a federal investigation that ended up exposing something most people never think about: the equipment that touches your food before it ever reaches your plate. Ukrop's Homestyle Foods is a Richmond, Virginia establishment, and once that complaint came in, they didn't just pull the one batch. They went back and reviewed their own baking pans, the actual aluminum trays their spaghetti and chicken cobbler get cooked in, and that's when things got worse. During that internal review, they found a small sliver of aluminum had broken off inside one of the pans. Then they found a similar metal fragment in a chicken cobbler product. Two separate discoveries, same root cause. The cookware itself was failing and leaving pieces behind in the food. Think about what that means. This wasn't a supplier shipping in a bad batch of chicken or a contaminated spice blend. This was the pan, the tool designed to safely cook the food, becoming the contamination source. The company traced it back to the pan supplier, notified them, and that supplier has since pulled the potentially affected pan lots out of distribution. But by then, the products made using those pans were already on their way to stores. This kind of failure isn't as rare as people assume. Commercial kitchens and large-scale food manufacturers run the same baking pans, mixing blades, and conveyor components through thousands of cycles of extreme heat, repeated cleaning, and constant physical stress. Metal fatigues over time, just like anything else. A pan that looked perfectly fine on a visual inspection can have microscopic stress fractures forming underneath the surface, invisible until a piece finally breaks free. Foreign material recalls tied to equipment, not ingredients, happen more often than most consumers realize, precisely because the failure point isn't something you can see coming just by looking at the food. The recall covers both the bulk trays sold to food service and the individual retail-sized trays people would grab straight off a grocery shelf, all produced over a full month this July. Every one of these products carries an official USDA establishment number stamped right on the package, tying them directly back to this one Richmond, Virginia facility. Now here's the part that should actually concern you if you're anywhere near Virginia, North Carolina, or West Virginia. These products didn't just go to regular grocery stores. They were distributed to Department of Defense commissaries and sold online, meaning military families and their kids may have had this in their freezers without any idea a pan defect was baked into their dinner. As of this recall, FSIS says there have been no confirmed injuries. No one has reported swallowing metal or being physically hurt by these products. But the agency has been direct about one thing. They believe some of this product is still sitting in refrigerators and freezers right now, because recalls almost never catch everything before people have already stocked up. If you bought Ukrop's baked spaghetti or chicken cobbler recently, the instruction is simple. Don't eat it, throw it away, or take it back to where you bought it for a refund. If you're unsure whether a package you already have at home is affected, don't just rely on memory. Check the actual packaging against the official recall notice, since the establishment number and date codes printed on the label are the only way to confirm it for certain. And if you've already eaten a portion of an affected product and nothing felt wrong, that doesn't necessarily mean you're in the clear. A small metal fragment can sometimes pass through without obvious symptoms, so if you have any concerns at all, it's worth mentioning to a healthcare provider rather than assuming everything is fine. What makes this recall different from the outbreak stories you've probably seen this year is that there's no bacteria here, no pathogen, nothing invisible you'd need a lab to detect. This is a mechanical failure, a piece of equipment degrading in a way nobody caught until a customer bit into it, and that raises the bigger question worth sitting with. Food safety inspections focus heavily on bacteria, allergens, and labeling. But what about the equipment itself? How often are commercial baking pans, mixing equipment, and processing lines actually inspected for wear before they start shedding into the food supply? This recall didn't happen because of a routine audit. It happened because one person found metal in their dinner and said something. That's worth remembering the next time you hear people say the system catches everything before it reaches you. Sometimes it's not the system. It's a single customer complaint that unravels weeks of production and forces a company to look at its own equipment for the first time. If this kind of investigation matters to you, hit that like button so more people see it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Stay safe and stay tuned, because these stories only get told if enough of us are paying attention.